Hey there, it's Mitzi. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing something a little different. If you follow my channel, you know that my husband built me some new bookshelves recently, and so behind me is just, when I look at it, I feel like it's a disaster because I've been moving books around, and it's been several weeks ago that he did that. But it's driving me bananas. I want them organized. And so this week I am going to go through and try to organize some of my books in the middle of all my Christmas stuff. So we'll see how this goes. But the other day I was watching Book Zealots, and she mentioned that she was going to purge her bookshelves, and she's been going through kind of picking books and trying a chapter and seeing if she wants to read it. And it made me want to do the same thing. I don't know about you, but when somebody organizes or cleans, it encourages me to do the same thing. It helps me out, actually. So anyway, I mentioned to her when I watched it, I said, you know, I think I'm going to do the same thing. So I looked over my shelves and I thought, okay, which books can I try a chapter for that I'm on the fence about? I'm not even sure if I like the book. So I chose several books from my bookshelf. Now I didn't choose too many because what I'm going to do is go through this stack. I think there's 5. There's 6 books here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this stack. I'm going to try a chapter, and if I'm interested at all in reading it, I'm going to keep that book. If I'm not interested, I'm going to unhaul it. I don't unhaul a lot of books. I keep them because I have room in here for books. But I'm wanting to spread my books out a little bit and kind of decorate my shelves a little bit. So I'm going to try to go through and unhaul some. If they've been there for a long time and I don't think I'm going to read them, why keep it anyway? So that's what kind of mood I'm in this week. Next week I might change my mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these 6 that have been on my shelf for a little while, and I'm going to decide whether or not I'm interested. So here are the books I'm trying this time. These are books that someone has recommended to me, or I was out and about and saw and thought it looked interesting. So here we go. The first one is a Ruta Sepetys. I think that's how you say her name. Ruta Sepetys. Is that how you say it? It's one of her books, and I've heard great things about her, but I've never tried any. This one is called Between Shades of Grey. Now, I had chosen this for one of the historical fiction readathons. I think they had one in the spring, maybe. I can't remember. But anyway, I had chosen this to read and I didn't get to it. And I don't know if I'll like it or not. Again, I'd heard that she was a great writer and that it was historical fiction and that I would like it. But I do think that this might be young adult. I'm not sure. Yeah, it says teens. So that's what's kept me from picking it up, is because I don't read a lot of YA. However, it's historical fiction, so I'm going to give this one a try. I'm going to try a chapter and see. The next one is by Amanda Cox. It's called The Edge of Belonging. I don't know anything about this one, but I've heard that Amanda Cox was a great writer, so I thought I would try it. I'm not sure if this is historical. Yeah, I think it goes back and forth. It looks like, well, no, this says, okay, it says, chapter 1 says September 8th, 1994, and then some of the chapters say present day. So I'm not sure what this is. I don't think it's too far back in history. So I'm not sure about this one. I really don't want to read the back because I don't like to be spoiled. So I'm not even going to read the back of it. I'm going to just go with trying the first chapter of this one. The next one was super popular, and that's why I picked it up. But I really don't think I'm going to read this. It's from Reese Witherspoon's book club, and I don't think I've read any of those books. I don't know why I picked these books up. But this one I've heard great things about. It's called Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. But I think this is contemporary, and I don't read a lot of contemporary. But again, I heard it was great. So I'm going to read the first chapter, and I'll let you know if I'm going to keep it. This next one has been on my shelf forever. I mean, I've had this for so long, and the only reason I picked it up was because it was a Pulitzer Prize winner. It's called Olive Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout. I think I actually showed this in a video of should I read these, and I think a couple of you said to read it, but I still have not picked it up. So I'm going to try a chapter and I will let you know. again, the only reason I had this is because it had that Pulitzer Prize, and I thought, well, let's see, why it won the Pulitzer Prize. But I've read some Pulitzer Prize that bored me to tears, so we'll see. I'm going to try a chapter of this one. This one has been on my shelf for a long time too, and I think they made a movie of this. Big Stone Gap by Adriana Trigiani. Is that how you say her name? She writes a lot of like Southern fiction, I think, and so that's why I picked this up. Never even opened this book, so again, I think this was one of those that this might be been in a free bin. I don't know, but I have heard of Big Stone Gap. I've heard that she's a great writer, so I want to try a chapter of that one. And then finally, this one I picked up because I've heard great things about Diane Chamberlain, and I want to try her work. I've never read anything by her. This one's called The Dream Daughter, and I've heard it was a really good one too. So these are the 6 books that I'm going to try. The Dream Daughter, Big Stone Gap, Olive Kitteridge, Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine, The Edge of Belonging, and Between Shades of Grey. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try a chapter, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you what I think. So hold tight and I'll let you know. Okay, so I'm back with Between Shades of Grey, and I like this so far. Now, I haven't read a lot, but y'all, the beginning, it has maps. And I love a good map. There's a couple of maps in here, and it actually gives a timeline of days. So it must be they're going to trek across. I don't know, but that sounds very interesting. It says to convey the great distance Lena and her family traveled. So I'm already interested. I haven't read it yet. The first chapter starts in 1941, and it sounded like it was a young girl, and is it her brother? Jonas? I think that might be her brother. And their mom. And it was a real short little chapter. I didn't read but the first chapter, but I'm already interested. It sounds like soldiers are at the door and they're coming for them. So that historical fiction is my favorite. That sounds like it's going to be good just by the maps at the front, and they've got this long journey. This sounds like a pretty intense book and historical fiction, and it's set in 1941. Yeah, I think I'm going to like this one. So I'm keeping this one, and from this, the front of this, it looks like it's going to be cold. So I might need to pick this up right after Christmas. So let me know if you've read this. Don't tell me what it's about because I don't want to know. But let me know if you've read this and if it is a winter read, because from what I've seen on the front, trekking across here, Siberia, that just sounds like it would be a winter read from the cover of this and how it's starting. So I think that this might be a good winter read, and I am interested, so this is a keeper. Okay, so the next one I'm going to pick up is The Edge of Belonging by Amanda Cox. I'll be right back. Okay, so I read the first chapter of The Edge of Belonging. I don't know anything about this. I have not heard exactly what this is about other than it was a good book. And I'm interested in this one too. This one starts with this guy. It says September 8th, 1994. And there's this guy, and apparently he's just wandering around. He's a loner. He's by himself. It sounds like he's homeless. I'm not really sure what's going on with this guy. But he finds a baby that has just been born and discarded. But the baby seems like it's okay. And he's taking the baby with him. So now I am super interested because I want to know, is he going to keep this baby? Is he going to turn this baby in? How is this baby going to affect his life, basically? So I am super interested in this. Yeah, this is a keeper. I want to keep reading. Now, again, I only read the first chapter. I don't know how I'm going to get on with it, but so far I'm liking the writing style, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen with this guy who seems like he doesn't have anything to do with other people, but yet it doesn't seem like he has anyone in his life, but yet he has this new baby that maybe is he going to be responsible for it? I want to know. So I'm going to continue reading this one too. All right, so the first two, I'm not doing very well with unhauling. I'm doing better with keeping. So the first two so far, Between Shades of Grey and The Edge of Belonging, sound like books that I would enjoy. All right, the next one I'm going to pick up is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I just read the first chapter of Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. I like the writing. I like that this person seems quirky, but it's contemporary. I don't read a lot of contemporary. I don't know. I'm not too sure about this. It might be the greatest thing ever, but it's just, I don't care. I'm not feeling drawn in. Again, I only read the first chapter. I know it's supposed to be a great one, but I just don't think it's for me. So I think I'm going to get rid of this one. Okay, so I have one that I am unhauling. I'm going to keep the other two that I mentioned earlier, and I think I'm going to get rid of this Eleanor Oliphant. Now here's the thing. It might be because I've been sitting here reading through these chapters and I'm feeling kind of, I don't know, because I'm, you know, flipping through different books. Maybe that's why I'm feeling like this. So I think I'm going to take a little break and come back and do the others a little later. So I'm going to pause here because, yeah, I don't know if it's just how I'm feeling at the moment, but yeah, this didn't draw me in. So I think I'm going to unhaul this one. So the next one that I'm going to pick up, but I'm going to take a break because it might be because I'm reading these back to back. The next one I'm going to try is Olive Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to try this one a little later, and then I'll let you know. Okay, I'm back. I thought I'd get me some coffee while I do this one. This is, I'm enjoying doing this because I think it's a great way to decide what I want to read, especially with the new year coming up and I'm filling my cart. And by the way, for those of you who have given me all the, I posted a video. If you don't follow my channel, you would know this, but I posted a video several days ago asking you to fill my cart for next year, my reading cart, and you have come through for sure. So thank you for that. If you haven't seen that video, I'll try to remember to leave a link to it. That way you can go over and give me some suggestions to fill my cart. But I am trying to unhaul and make room so that I can choose books that I know I'm going to enjoy. So I don't want to be reading books that I'm not going to enjoy. So I'm going through these, and this is a little complicated because I'm like, should I get rid of it because I hold on to these books? But then I really want to make next year just a great year of reading. And since I've joined BookTube and you've been giving me all these recommendations, because I think that sometimes as I'm telling you about these books and why I like them, other books come to mind, and so you recommend them, and that is really working for me. So I'm trying to unhaul some of these books that I've just picked up at random, and you know, put books on my shelf that I know that I'm going to enjoy. I really want 2023 to be just filled with wonderful literature. Okay, so anyway, excuse me for just a minute. You'd think I'd been talking a lot rather than reading. Okay, so then I tried Olive Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout, and this has been on my shelf for a very long time, but I think I'm going to have to let it go. The first chapter, it started out with potential because it was this pharmacist, this guy who is a pharmacist, and I actually was, I worked at a pharmacy when I was in college, and it reminded me a lot of us because he was an older guy and I worked there. It was just the two of us. It was a very small town pharmacy, and I really enjoyed that time. He was such a great guy, and we met so many wonderful people through that because everybody had known him forever. You know, it was one of those pharmacies where, you know, they bought on credit, and it was pretty much I would just write down how much they owed, and then the next month when their check came in at the beginning of the month, they would come in and pay their bill. It was that kind of setup. It was a wonderful time in my life, and I really have fond memories of that, and boy did I meet some quirky people. So when I started this, I thought, okay, that's what this is going to be. But I'm sorry to say that it feels a little cynical. It seemed a little, I don't know. I like the writing, Elizabeth Strout's writing. I do like how she writes a story. It's pretty straightforward kind of writing, but I'm not feeling very good about these characters. And the other reason, the main reason, is one of the characters, now I've only read the first chapter, and already 4 times they've taken the Lord's name in vain. And that's a no-no for me. Do not use that word. And so for me, it's going to be a no, because if it's already 4 times in the first chapter and I cringe over that, I'll be cringing and my jaw will be clenched the whole time I read this. So this will be a no, unfortunately. I've had it forever, but now I know. I've tried a chapter, and no, I'm not reading that a whole book of that. And especially, I don't know if it is, but it felt sort of, it just had a cynical vibe to me. So this will be an unhaul. So now I have read 4 first chapters. 2 are keepers and 2 I'm going to unhaul. The next one I'm going to try is Big Stone Gap. Again, I think there was a movie made of this that I watched years ago. It was an okay movie. I enjoyed it. I think it was pretty popular. So I'll give this one a try and let you know. Okay, so I tried a chapter of Big Stone Gap, and I don't know about this. I do like that it feels like a small town. I liked that it started with a bookmobile, because that is how I became a reader. One day I'll share my story about my bookmobile. I may have shared that, but one day I'll really share that story with you if you're interested. But I do love a bookmobile, and so that caught my interest. However, as it went on, there was just a couple of things, some references that they weren't vulgar, but they just, I don't know about this character. And I'm just not interested. It just seems like it's Southern fiction, which you would think, because I'm from the South, I would love. But I don't always love it. Sometimes I feel like they go a little over the top and they kind of exaggerate these characters. And that's what I'm feeling already. So I don't think I'm going to keep Big Stone Gap. I think I'm going to unhaul this one. So now I have 3 unhauls and 2 keepers, which I think is pretty good so far. I'm still feeling kind of reluctant about unhauling, but I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to unhaul those. Okay, and then finally, the last one I'm going to try is this Diane Chamberlain, I'm not sure how you say it, and it is called The Dream Daughter. So I'm going to read a chapter of this, and I will report back and let you know. Okay, so I've tried The Dream Daughter, and this has great potential. I can already tell you, I think this is going to be a really good one. Okay, so in this one, I did not even read the first chapter. It was a prologue, but it's already drawn me in. So I was like, I'm going to go back and report, because I think it was like 8 pages. But it starts off, and it says Carly, April of 1965, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And in this chapter, it's this girl who is working, I think she's trying to get certified or something as a physical therapist, and she meets this guy who seems suicidal, and so they're having this relationship in the wherever he is supposed to be receiving his physical therapy. Very interesting so far, because it seems like he might be a time traveler. I'm not sure, but he knows about, there's a new Beatles song, Ticket to Ride, which of course I know that song, and it has just come out, but he already knows the lyrics and everything. So that sounds super interesting. And it's like, okay, how does he know the lyrics to Ticket to Ride? So I'm already trying to figure out what's going on. And even though I've only read the prologue, I definitely want to know what is going on. If he is a time traveler, why is he, traveling? Why is he here? That sounds super interesting. So I don't know anything about this, but already I am captivated, and I want to know what's going to happen. So I'm going to definitely keep The Dream Daughter. I've only read, again, 8 pages, but I'm already intrigued to know what in the world's going on with this person. It sounds like time travel. I didn't read anything on the rest of it, and I don't want to know, so don't tell me. But that's what it sounds like just from what this guy is saying about I mean, how does he know the lyrics to Ticket to Ride if it just came out that day? You know what I mean? The song came out. So anyway, interested to read more of this one. Okay, so I think I did well with this. This is the first time I've done this tri-chapter thing. All right, so I'm going to unhaul Big Stone Gap, Olive Kitteridge, and Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. And when I look at that stack, I can see that I wouldn't be interested in these. You know what I mean? So yes, I'm going to unhaul those. Oh, I'm keeping 3, so I'm half and half. I think that's pretty good. All right, so I'm keeping 3. Between Shades of Grey, super interested in that. I really think I'm going to start reading this right after Christmas because it felt wintry. The Edge of Belonging by Amanda Cox, and then The Dream Daughter by Diane Chamberlain, that sounded really interesting too. So keeping 3, and I'm unhauling 3, and I am proud of myself for going through these 6. I think that this will be a great way to go through. Thanks to Book Zealots for mentioning this. When she goes through and purges, it makes me want to do the same thing, and it's perfect timing for me since I have these new shelves. I need to kind of reorganize and get ready for 2023. So I think this was a success. I want to try to do some more of these periodically, just pull a few at a time, spend a little time just reading through the first chapter. It doesn't take long to do that anyway, and kind of see where I am and what I want to keep and what I want to toss. So let me know in the comments if you've read any of these. Let me know if you ever try to unhaul some of your books, and do you reorganize and organize at the end of the year like I do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.